So today we're going to be putting the cat's face not on this gray hat. We are going to use this white hat to put the cat's face on it. Okay. So for the eyes, we are going to be using chunky wool in white and in black, but because it doesn't actually stand out for white, we're simply going to use the black one for the white hat. But I'm still going to show you how to make the white part of the eyes and of course the black part of the eyes. And then we are also going to be putting on the whiskers, the heart, nose, and the mouth. But since we are going to be putting the face on the white hat, so we are still going to be using pink for the nose and the mouth. But instead of using white for the whiskers, we're going to be using black for our whiskers for the white hat. Okay, so we are going to be putting on the eyes. So I'll show you how to make the white of the eyes and the black of the eyes. But we're going to put only the black for the white hat. So we have this. I'll just put these aside. So we take 4.5mm hook. So for the white one, that's going to be the outer part of the eyes. Okay. We are going to be using double crochet. Double crochet stitches for the white eyes. And it's going to be 10 double crochet into a magic circle. So we're going to make a magic circle. And then we're going to do chain 2 and work 10 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to cinch this loose end to close the middle part of the magic circle. And then we're going to complete this piece 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by going back to the first double crochet stitch, and we're going to close it with a slip stitch. Okay. And then we're going to leave enough yarn so we can stitch our eye onto our piece. Okay. So simply do that. Get a pair of scissors. Leave enough length. Okay. So that's the outer part of the eye. Next we're going to be making the inner part of the eye. So you take your black yarn and you use the same crochet hook. So instead of using 10 double crochet stitches, we're going to be using 8 half double crochet stitches. So we're going to insert the hook, make the magic circle. For this one, I normally, if it's just going to be one row into a magic circle of half double crochet, I normally start off with chain 2, and then we're going to work our first half double crochet, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then again we're going to cinch this loose end to close the inner part of the magic circle, and then we're going to close this first row with a slip stitch by looking for the first half double crochet of the row. Again, we give enough length of yarn so we can stitch the black of the eye onto the white of the eye. So this is the inner part of the eye. So you're going to get your yarn needle, and then we're going to take the white part of the eye, layer the black part on top of the white, and you're simply going to stitch it on. Okay. And there's really no fancy way of doing it. It's simple as, I am not very good at stitching things together, and my mother will attest to that. When I was in school, and they taught us how to make things, like to stitch clothes, I was normally the last person to finish anything, if at all, if I finished anything at all. So, you know, this is simple. Just using a very big needle to attach the black part of the eye onto the white part of the eye. And once you've done that, you can insert a bit of the loose and maybe a couple at the back of the white eye. Okay. Snip the excess. Also in the front you have a bit of excess there. So make sure you're not cutting your work. So just the loose ends. And whatever excess you have, you can always just hide it. Now, this is for crochet hat, wherein the white part of the eye is going to stand out. But if you're going to use a white hat, it isn't going to stand out. Okay? So, instead of doing this, okay, we're simply going to make the black part of the eye, but instead of using the same pattern, which is 8 half double crochet stitches into a magic circle, we're going to be using the same pattern we used for the white part of the eye, if we're going to be using it on the white hat. So a magic circle, chain 2, and 10 half double crochet into the magic circle. Fasten, and now you can stitch this onto our hat. Okay, so at this point I went on ahead and made a second black eye for our white cat hat. Okay, so again, the pattern for the black eye for the white hat will be different if you're using, let's say, a gray hat. Okay, right. So for this one, it is 10 double crochet stitches, which is similar to the white part of the eye if we use the gray hat. So what you do is you place the eyes. I would normally put it like almost in the middle from top to bottom. If you look at your hat, the top part, which is the crown, to the bottom of the hat, somewhere in the middle, lengthwise. And of course, if you notice, like anime characters, their eye placements are a little bit on the wide side. So that's what I would normally do. Okay. And then, of course, you start off with one eye and you stitch it on. Okay, so put that aside. Make sure you're only stitching it on one side of the hat and you're not stitching it through 2 layers. Okay. So now we've stitched the first eye, we'll stitch the second one. So you place it, making sure that it's equal distance, that you want a symmetrical looking cat, yeah, not like asymmetrical. Okay, so these are the 2 black eyes for your white hat. And then we're going to decorate it a little bit, these black eyes. You take a white piece of yarn. And then we're going to be stitching a highlight, like the gleam on the eye. So this one. Okay. Take your yarn needle and you stitch a little bit. So what I do is start from the back. And I would insert it at the middle top part of the black eye. Just right there. And then I would stitch it somewhere here. You could do just 1 pass, or you could do 2. I would normally do 2, just to secure it. Of course, it's a bit of like a trial and error, so you have to make sure that it's coming out in the right place, and then you insert the needle on the other end of that glimmer, as I would say. Okay. Then you're going to knot it in the inside part of the cat hat. I think 2 is enough. Use many knots, it's going to be very thick and probably uncomfortable for the wearer. See, it's right there. And then we'll do the other one as well. Right, so we have now the 2 eyes for our white cat hat. Okay. with the glimmer. And just a reminder, for the gray hat, you will need the white part of the eye, the outer part, which is made of white, and then the inner part, which is made of black, with the glimmer as well. Okay. And then next, we're going to be making the nose, which is made of a heart. Okay. And I think this is probably the last part that we're going to crochet. And then we're going to be making the whiskers and the mouth by simply stitching on with the yarn needle. Okay. So that will be for the white cat hat. We're going to take a nice pink color, and I'm going to be using an 2.5 millimeter hook. Okay. And I can write down the pattern for the nose, which is heart-shaped. So this is actually DK. So we're going to make a magic ring, and then we're going to do chain 2, and then we're going to make 2 double crochet. So this is the first and the second one, and then we're going to be making 2 half double crochet stitches. So first half double crochet, second half double crochet, 1 double crochet stitch, 2 half double crochet, and then 2 double crochet stitches. That's the first and the second double crochet stitch. Chain 2 again. Okay. And then we are going to slip stitch into the inside part of the magic circle, and then we're going to cinch this to close the piece, and then leave enough yarn so we can stitch it onto the face of the cat, and then fasten off. Okay, so we now have the heart, just the nose. Okay, and then we're going to stitch it on. So what I would do is, like this part of the piece, you can just fold it that way, so when you snip it, you're not snipping too much of the yarn. Okay. Okay, so we have your heart-shaped nose. Now, we have the mouth of the cat. What we can do here is, we have this excess piece of yarn that we used for stitching the nose. You can use a bit of this to make the mouth. So you go to the bottom of the nose, and stitching on, I guess you would call this like embroidery. It's a bit more, for me anyway, it's a bit more high-skilled work compared to crocheting, although some people might beg to disagree. But you do need a bit of imagination and practice to do this. Okay, so don't make it so hard. Don't stretch it so hard. It's going to deform your work. Okay, just sort of like draw a face using your needle and thread, or in this case yarn. I suppose that's what embroidery is. It's like artwork, isn't it? Okay, so let's take a look at this. Yeah, smiley face. And then you can secure the back part of this, weaving that through. So that's half the face, and then we'll just get more. Okay, so there's the mouth, and now we're going to add the whiskers. And because it's a white hat, a contrasting color will be black. So we'll have a bit of this black yarn. You can cut enough for one side, not too long, or else your thread will be harder to manage. And then we finish that, and then we're going to pull that together, but instead of just tying them together at a considerable distance from each other, I'm going to shorten the distance between the two of them by discreetly weaving one of them, the longer one, through the back. Making sure you don't make it too tight. You're making your work pucker up unnecessarily. Check the other side. Okay, I can't see it. Okay, tie this together. That's 1 and 2, and I think 2 knots is enough to secure that. Snap that off. Let's take a look at our work. So we have our white cat hat. And this is our gray cat hat. Some people like one over the other. I guess it's personal taste. Alright. See you in our next tutorial. Bye.